the end of 2022 will be a year that we will never forget, and I'm going to tell you why. Welcome to Nintendo Academy. If you are new here we cover news, reviews, products, and more, so consider subscribing, and don't forget to join our notification squad by clicking that bell and joining one of the best communities in Nintendo here on YouTube. I want to start by saying this. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel is not delayed. I know Nintendo just gave us a huge surprise with this Gen 9 Pokemon game coming out later this year. And yeah, that is part of Nintendo's strategy for the end of the year. Nintendo is releasing Breath of the Wild, a fully open world, beautiful, amazing game. Nintendo is also releasing Splatoon 3, a game full of color, of amazing action. And Nintendo is releasing a brand new Gen 9 Pokemon game in Scarlet and Violet. And yes, this game will be fully open world, just like Breath of the Wild was, meaning that you will not have loading times when going in and out of towns. You will just seamlessly go from one town out into the field and vice versa. And how you can say, Mike, how can Nintendo release 3 mega games at the same time? And these games are all standalone games and who deserve their own individual spotlight and should be considered games of the year. Well, let me tell you why and what is behind all of this amazing releases this year. Nintendo is about to release a brand new Nintendo console, and whether it's the Nintendo Switch 4K edition, which I believe it is, or it's a next gen Nintendo console, it's coming this year, guys. The reason why Breath of the Wild 2 is coming later this year, the reason why Nintendo went ahead and also added Violet and Scarlet this year, along with Splatoon, along with Kirby, all these games will look amazing in 4K, don't you think? They will look incredible in 4K. And let me ask you this question. So when Nintendo announced that Breath of the Wild 2 was going to be released in 2022, or was delayed until 2022, did you think that Nintendo did not know that there was a Scarlet Violet Gen 9 Pokemon game in development that was already scheduled to be released in 2022? Of course they did. Of course they did. It's all part of this amazing plan. I really do believe that the Switch OLED should have been the 4K Switch, but due to chip shortages, we were cut short and Nintendo was forced to release that Switch OLED model. But there, it does not fall in the air because it replaces the regular gen Switch. You can see this by the chip that was added onto the Switch OLED dock, along with the DLSS chip that will be added into the actual Switch console. This makes a perfect combination for Nintendo's next gen, or even the 4K edition Nintendo Switch. Now, for Nintendo to launch a Nintendo Switch this big, the 4K edition, we need to have some games that look amazing on it. And what better game to launch these games with than Pokemon Violet and Scarlet and Breath of the Wild 2. Guys, this is all a strategy to make this one of the greatest Nintendo years in history. We started out the year with Pokemon Legends Arceus. We have an amazing game with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We have Splatoon 3. We have Bayonetta 3. We have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. And a whole bunch of other games this year, just in 2022. This is the year that we will never forget. And I keep saying this, if you want to come back to this video later on to see how well it aged, but I guarantee you it will age very well, because I believe that from October to November we will see the Nintendo Switch 4K edition, and Nintendo will launch Breath of the Wild along with the Nintendo Switch 4K edition, which is the perfect game to display the new resolutions, not only for the Legend of Zelda sequel, but also for this Pokemon game, which is strategically placed to be launched alongside the Nintendo Switch 4K edition, which is coming later this year. And I am super excited. Let me know below in the comments your thoughts on my predictions for the rest of the year. Alright guys, let me know what you think down below in the comments. And I am Mike Perez with Nintendo Academy.